segment, we're going to talk about playing audio and video in your HTML5 PhoneGap application. I've pulled up the Cordova or PhoneGap documentation here, and I have it pointed to the media section. And notice here that the current implementation does not adhere to the W3C spec for media capture and is provided for convenience only. A future implementation will adhere to the latest W3C spec and may deprecate the current APIs. What that essentially means here is that the current interface for working with media will probably be deprecated in a future version of PhoneGap. So what I'm going to do is show you the core JavaScript that can be used to access media through an application that is HTML5 based on any media device. So let's go ahead and close that up. I've already created this HTML5 media application right here. There we go. And it's got the usual mess of things that we don't really need. So let's go ahead and go into our assets in our www folder, this of course being an Android app. I'm going to open up index.html in my favorite editor, and we're going to go ahead and clean that up and work with that file initially. Now I also have a couple of media files. I've gone ahead and selected some media files that are not copyrighted for usage here in this particular example. So I've got an MP3 of one of my favorite operatic arias. I guess that means the same thing, but it is an aria. And then I've got just a video of one of our employees here at Learn to Program typing on his keyboard. So we're going to take a look at playing both of those within the HTML5 space. I guess we can close up Justin for now. So the first thing I want to do, obviously, is move these into our application. So we've got a number of different folders here. I could, create a media folder if I wanted to. I could even stream these from a different URL, but all I'm going to do is copy them into my application folder. And you can see right there, we've got our index file, we've got caro.mp3 and justin.mp4. So an MP4 file, obviously, is a video version of the MP3. Now, one of the things you should be aware of is that different browsers and different implementations on the actual devices support different types of files. MP3 is a major one, but there's also WAV files and other types. So what I recommend you do is actually convert your file to a second type as well. I'm going to do that right now. There's a number of sites out there that'll do the conversion for you. There is a format called OGVorbis, and if you use MP3 and OGVorbis, you'll have both of these covered. So I'm going to use this little converter here, and it's online. That's going to convert our MP3 file into an OGVorbis file. This way we'll have both types of files, and we'll have the multitude of different types of devices covered. Okay, I've just completed that conversion process offline, and now I have a justin.ogv and a caro.ogg. So this is an OGVorbis audio file, and OGV is an OGVorbis video file. This is a non-proprietary format, and it's just the combination of MP3 and OGG, again, gives us the widest breadth of devices. All right, we can move this out of the way for now, and let me expand out our text area here, or rather our text editor. And I'm going to remove all of the unnecessary Cordova-related template stuff that I don't use. And I'm not going to use their style sheet either. And I also like to move this script up to the head. You've seen me do this a bunch by now. And I'm going to get that div out here. All right, so now we've got a clean start. So the first thing we've got to do is actually put our audio element onto the HTML. So I'm going to just simply use the audio tag. Don't know why we're in all caps there. There we go. Audio. I'm going to set the attribute controls equal to the value controls. And inside the audio element, I'm going to indicate the source file or files for the media. So this is caro.mp3 and caro.og. So I'll use source src equals caro.mp3. And what it's going to do is it's going to choose in order, it's going to try and play these in the order that you have them listed. So first it's going to try the MP3, and if that's supported, it's going to go ahead and play. Then it's going to try the OGG file, and if that's supported, it's going to play that. And if you had a third file type, we could include that as well. But you want to be aware that if it can't support any of the types here, your audio tag won't work. And different operating systems and different browser types are going to react differently to that. All right, so now, for the sake of speed here, let's do a quick test in one of our browsers. So I'm going to bring up index.html here, and I'm actually going to go ahead and test this in Chrome. In the end, we'll test in a legitimate, so to speak, mobile device, but browser testing is a good way to go for right now. So we'll click play, and hopefully you can hear just in the background the introductory notes. I'll move into the center here, and there's some opera for you. You notice there's also a built-in volume control and a slider here on which we can get the position in the media. Now, this control comes from this line here, controls equals controls. If I were to take that out, then we would have to use JavaScript to play, pause, and etc. But for right now, we're just using the built-in controls, which is fine to do in your application, although you might want more custom look and feel and custom function, in which case you'd have to use JavaScript. Now, the nice thing about the audio and video APIs in HTML5 is that they are actually identical. So to play our video, I'm going to select video, controls equals controls. We'll close the video tag, and then again we'll source this time our two video files, justin.mp4 and justin.ogv. So source equals justin.mp4, type equals video/mp4, and then again source src equals justin.ogv, and type equals video/ogv. What I'm putting there with the type attribute and value is known as the Mime type. This will probably work without it, but it's a good idea to have it in there. It's part of the recommendation. Oops, and before I play this, I should make that quick change. The Mime type for OGG video is video/OGG, not OGV. Okay, so we've made that change, and now let's go ahead and try this in Firefox. This time doesn't really matter. And there's Justin, and let's go ahead and hit play. And there you can see the video moving and Justin typing on his keyboard. We could adjust audio, we could full screen, and all these good things. So we've got our audio and video playing, which is a good start. Now, normally our next step would be to put this on the emulator and test it as if on a device. The problem is the emulators don't tend to handle media very well. They're just not fast enough to parse and stream the actual media content. So at this point, we'd want to test on an actual device. So I would recommend at this point you go ahead and plug in your Android device